Hi, in this session we'll discuss SUMIF, COUNTIF and AVERAGEIFS functions. So if you were told to provide a total, for example, your sales, but not just a full sum, only for certain product or say for certain month and or for a specific country. So if you have to make a sum with exceptions, and if these exceptions are more than one, then you will go with SUMIFS function. So it's not SUMIF but SUMIFS function. So now what's the difference? You might ask. SUMIF function checks for only one exception, whereas the IFS version can check multiple criteria. So SUMIFS and AVERAGEIFS are very similar. COUNTIF is little different. So let's do one example on this SUMIF and SUMIFS. Say I want to find what is my revenue for the month of February. So what I can do is I can use this SUMIF. Here I'm using SUMIF because I have just this one criteria, that is for the month of February. So what is the first in this syntax, what is the first input? That is range. So here the range is criteria range. So the criteria is of month. So here I have to provide the range of the month. So that is my criteria range. Now what is the criteria? I want the total sales for the month of February. So that is my criteria. And what exactly I want? I want the sum of sales, right? So this is my range. So I want sum of sales, that is the total sales for the month of February. So the first criteria is my criteria range, that is month. The second is the criteria itself, that is for the month of February, and the third is sum range, that is what total life I want sum of what? I want sum of sales. So that is my third criteria, and hit enter. Now what if I want to find out the sales of the month of February, but I have one more criteria, that I want to find out the sale of shirt white, that is my product, for the month of February. So I have two criteria here. In this case, when you have more than one criteria, then you have to use SUMIFS function. So SUMIFS function, this is little bit different from SUMIF. Here you have to first provide the sum range. So I want to find the sales revenue. So that is my sum range. For first criteria, so first you mention the criteria range 1, that is February is the month. So the month column, so that is the range. So criteria range 1, then the criteria itself, that is February, then the criteria range 2. So shirt white, but I have to put the criteria range. My product column, that is second, and then the criteria itself, that is shirt white, and hit enter. Now if I add one more criteria, that I want the total sales for February, shirt white, and in USA. So in that case, I have to do the same, just to use SUMIFS and just add one more criteria. So the first thing is that sum range. I have to find the total sales. So this is my sales column. So I have to provide this is just a second. So I have to provide first the range, sum range. So I want to find the sum, so I am providing sum range. My first criteria is February, so first February, that is the month range, and then the criteria 1. After that second criteria range, that is my product. So I want to find it for a specific product, that is shirt white, and then the criteria itself, and then again the third range, that is by country, and the specific criteria, that is USA. So that is my SUMIF function. Now what if I want to include one comparison operator? So what I want is sales revenue for the month of February. The product is shirt white, and this time not USA, but I want only sum if the revenue is greater than 500. So how can I do that? So I use SUMIFS function, and the first is my sum range. So I select this, so control shift down, then my criteria range 1. So first criteria is February month, so but the range is, that means my month column, and then my criteria 1, that is February itself, then my criteria range 2, that is product column, and the criteria 2 itself, and then the third criteria range, that is the sales revenue, which is also my sum range, and then the third criteria. Now while using the conditional operators, if you don't want to put the criteria in a cell, here I have the criteria in I8, rather if you want to put it in the formula itself and you do like greater than 500, then it will throw an error. So what you need to do is you need to put it in quotation marks, because it will be considered as text. Otherwise, if you there is one more thing here, you can put, instead of the whole thing, you can put just this operator in quotation marks. So you can also do this. You can also do this, a cell reference, that is I have this just greater here, and the cell reference here I just put 500, and here I give the cell reference this. So the average IFS work in the same exact way. Only thing is, instead of SUMIFS, you will put average IFS. Sorry, it's average IFS. So I entered it. This is a problem. Now let's see the COUNTIF function. Here we have only one criteria, so we'll be using COUNTIF function. COUNTIF function is little different from SUMIF, because here we don't have to provide the sum range. So COUNTIF, we have to provide a range. So here the range is this, control shift down, and the criteria, that is February. So what what is the occurrence, how many occurrences of February. So that is 8. Now here I have two criteria, so I'll use COUNTIFS. COUNTIFS, the criteria range 1, that is like February, so month, range, control shift down, and this is the criteria. Then criteria range 2, that is my product column, and then shirt white. This is the actual criteria range 2. So I have 4 such occurrences in February where I have shirt white. So let's see here, shirt white, yes, first is this in February, shirt white this, second, this is third, and this one is fourth. So that was all on average if, COUNTIF, and some if and s functions. Thank you.